Welcome to Crisis in Perception, where we examine the systems shaping our world. This mini-explainer introduces Project 2025's Mandate for Leadership as a governance operating system, how administrative power is assembled and deployed. And what we're going to do here is we're not going to get bogged down in specific policies. Instead, we're looking at the machinery, the system itself, that's designed to put those policies into action. So to really get a handle on this, think of it this way. The whole idea is like a pre-built control panel, fully installed and ready to go before a new president even sits down at the desk. The whole point? Zero downtime. The idea is that a new administration can start executing its agenda from the very first minute. No delays. So what is Project 2025, really? Well, at its heart, it's a meticulously crafted transition plan. The thinking behind it is that historically, new administrations kind of waste their most crucial window, those first few days and weeks, just trying to get up to speed. This plan is designed to completely flip that script. The goal is to have a whole team, a whole playbook, ready to go live at, 12:01 p.m. on Inauguration Day.
Okay, so how does this operating system actually work? Well, we can break it down into three key parts. First, you've got the personnel, the people who'll run the thing. Then, the authority, where they say their power comes from. And finally, the procedure, how they actually use the levers of government. Let's jump into that first one, personnel.
All right, the first mechanism, personnel. You can think of these as the operators and technicians of the system. I mean, an operating system is nothing without people to run it, right? So let's look at who they want to put at the controls. This whole strategy is built on a very powerful political idea, one that really came into its own under President Reagan. And it's simple. Personnel is policy. What does that mean? It means the people you put in the jobs are the policy. It's not just about what's written on paper. It's about who is there to carry it out. The person in the chair is the agenda in action. And this isn't just a vague idea. They built a whole infrastructure around it. So first, you've got this massive personnel database for vetting candidates, and this is all happening before an election. Then there's literally a presidential administration academy for training. The objective, to fill around 4,000 political appointee jobs, and fast. And here's a really key part, a freeze on hiring for top career positions. This is designed to stop what they call burrowing in, where people from a previous administration might get permanent civil service jobs to, in their view, slow down the new agenda. Okay, so you've got the people ready to go, but on what basis can they act? Where do they get their power? That leads us straight to the second mechanism, authority. This is all about the legal foundation the plan asserts for everything it wants to do. Now, to really understand their argument for authority, you have to know what they see as the main problem. And that is a term you hear a lot in the mandate, the administrative state. So what is it from their point of view? They describe it as this huge, sprawling federal bureaucracy filled with career employees who aren't elected. And the key charge is that these employees are often carrying out their own policy plans, not the president's. So if that's the problem, what's the solution? Where do they find the authority to fix it? Well, they point right to the Constitution, specifically to Article 2. There's a phrase in there that says, the executive power shall be vested in a president. And their interpretation is that this one line gives the president complete direct control over the entire executive branch, period. And honestly, this quote from the mandate pretty much says it all. Quote, it is the president's agenda that should matter to the departments and agencies, not their own. It's incredibly direct. The core idea here is to completely recenter the government so that every single part of the executive branch is responding to one thing and one thing only, the agenda of the president, who they see as the only person elected by all the people. Okay, so we have the people and we have the claim to authority. But how do you actually make the government machine do what you want? That's where our final mechanism comes in. Procedure. Think of these as the specific levers and dials the plan wants to use. This is a great way to see it side by side. On the left, you've got what the plan considers traditional obstacles. On the right, the proposed levers to get around them. So, for instance, career civil service rules. The plan says to bring back something called Schedule F. This would let them reclassify huge numbers of career staff as political appointees, which basically means they could be fired at will. What about union agreements? Reinstate executive orders to limit their power. Existing agency regulations? The plan would use the Office of Management and Budget, the OMB, as a kind of central enforcer to make sure agencies are following what it calls the commander's intent. You see the pattern here, right? It's all about using the existing powers of the executive branch in a really bold way, often without needing to go through Congress. So we've looked at the who, the why, and the how. the personnel, the authority, and the procedures. But let's zoom out. When you combine all these pieces, what is this entire system designed to do? What's the endgame? Well, the project's own introduction is pretty explicit about it. I mean, listen to this quote. The goal is to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservatives. And what is their mission? To go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state. So it's not just about running the government differently. The stated mission is to actually take it apart from the inside. And that really leads to the big question hanging over all of this. If this whole system were put into place successfully, would it create a new normal? I mean, you're talking about pre-installing thousands of aligned people, asserting total executive authority, and using procedures designed to get around the usual checks and balances. The goal seems to be nothing less than a fundamental reshaping of the entire operating system of American government. This project is free and publicly accessible. If you'd like to support the time, tools, and research behind Crisis in Perception, you can become a supporter on Patreon. For a longer, audio-based analysis of this topic, see the deep dive linked in the description. If you enjoy this kind of systems-level analysis, please like, subscribe, and comment with books or topics you'd like us to explore next.